So, hey, friend. We ran into each other, Annette and I, at Rayleigh's this last week, and it was a God appointment, wasn't it?
Yes.
And I had a lot of questions for Annette just about her new role at Love Inc. And about where she felt like God was leading her and leading the ministry. And I thought it was so important that we kind of share this with the women in this community. So that's why we're here. And so, Annette, maybe you could share with all of us, just kind of how long have you been at Love Inc.? This is kind of new. And what was it that God did to draw you to take on this ministry?
Well, the store closed down, Hope Christian Stores. Most of the ladies know me from Christian Connection or Hope Christian Stores. That closed down. We had about a 4-month wait of wondering what was going to happen next and where I was going to go next. And so God opened the store for me. I had about 3 people say, you need to apply for this job at Love Inc. And so it got my curiosity up, and I started to look into that and prayed about it, and just really felt like I would love to be a part of the Love Inc. ministry because of the just the changes it was doing in the community and the impact it was having. I wanted to be a part of that.
And that's right up your alley, right?
Yeah,
People and
connecting.
Yes. So what do you think, if you could capture the heart of Love Inc., like in one statement, what would you say?
Well, it really is churches helping people, that they come alongside and they help transform the lives of the people that they are reaching out to. Love Inc. could not exist without the church, because Love Inc. is the church. And so when we mobilize the churches together, organizations, women, men's group, anyone that wants to reach out into the community, that's when we are better together and we can make a difference. And so when we come alongside and we meet a need, we are first coming to meet the spiritual need of the person, and then the physical need. They may need a bed, they may need food or clothing, but our first concern is the spiritual part of who they are. And so we bring love in the name of Christ to them first, and then we meet their needs. So we care about the whole person.
And I think that in the past, when I've thought of Love Inc., I've thought of if I have furniture to donate, or if I'm going to help deliver furniture, or if I knew a family in need that needed food, right?
Yes.
But I think it goes beyond just the organization of the church, which you do that as well. But for somebody that's just like me, who says, what could I do? How could I be involved? What would you say? How could the women listening just be a part? Like, what if they have their own whole ministry, but they still want to be a part of the mission that you have here in town? What would you say to them or to us?
So to look and to say, what do I have in my hand? What is it that I can bring? What is a skill set that I have? I have 2 hours a week that I can be on the phones for you. I can stuff envelopes. I can be a part of a event fundraiser. I can deliver furniture. I can donate a bed. There's just so many ways that we can, all working together, do the needs, because the needs are great in Merced. They are great.
Yes.
And there are people that are waiting to be helped, and they need Christ to be brought to them. And so when we have people that say, yes, I'll go into a home and I will pray for this person. So we go out and we assess their need, but then we bring a volunteer from a church, and they will pray and ask the person, what's your need today that we can pray for? Do you go to church? And so we literally open the door for you to go in and to bring Christ to them.
Wow.
So that's a really cool thing, especially if you have a heart to reach the lost. Right there is an avenue for you, because one of the most intimate things you do is go into someone's home. And so you're in their home, and now you can bring Christ and ask for Jesus to give you a spiritual conversation to kind of happen. And then you walk through, and then you can see transformation happen in their lives.
Now, this isn't a question that I pre-sent you. I'm going to give you, but it's something that we talked about. What was the biggest thing that you discovered when you started walking into those situations? Because we talked about this, that maybe your frame of reference in the past, what it had been towards poverty and people in need. And could you just share a little bit about that, like what you shared with me before?
Yes. I'm a middle class person, so I've not been in poverty. So a lot of our clients have been in generational poverty, where that's all they've known. When you live in generational poverty, you're very hopeless in that you can never get out of the system. You can never get out of what you're into. And so when I came into some of those situations, into their homes, I had a sense that I wanted to help fix their situation. And then realizing that it wasn't about fixing their situation, but empowering them to take control of their situation.
So there's materials that people can give and donate. There is time where they can be a part, even if it's just making phone calls or delivering.
Yes.
And then there's probably a little bit deeper, a little bit more, which is spiritually entering into these relationships and praying.
Yes,
I told
prayer.
a friend right after we had talked, and her eyes lit up when I said, Annette's looking for volunteers to just come in and pray when these things are delivered. I'd probably be one that would want to say, I'll deliver, but I don't know if I can pray with somebody in that scenario. So I love that there's, there are different places we could grab on in this whole mission and say, you know what,
Absolutely.
this is something that I can do. Okay, so you have an event coming up. Why don't you tell us about your event?
Yes, we have a dinner auction called Build a Bridge of Love, Friday night, March 3rd at Gateway from 6 to 9. Tickets are $25 a piece, or for a table for 8 is $175. Our keynote speaker is going to be Sam Estes, and he is the Pastor Sam Estes. Used to be at First Baptist for several years, so some of you may know who he is. We also are in need of auction items, so we are having a silent and live auction. So if you wanted to donate something, we're also doing cakes and desserts and things like that. So if you would like to come, we would love to have you come out and support our event.
Okay, I have one last thing. If there was one aspect of Love Inc., one issue that we could address, that we could point out and just go, you know what, here's one thing this year that we want to tackle and take on, what would it be?
Yes. We need beds. When you walk into their homes and you see their children sleeping on the floor, it breaks your heart. And, one of the things is when I left, I said, Lord, you have to give us more beds. We just have to get these people and their children in beds. And so that would be probably our greatest need. So if you know of someone that has a gently used bed, you could say to them, go ahead and give that to Love Inc. If you had a group that wanted to get together and maybe buy 2 or 3 beds for Love Inc., we would just so appreciate that. But that is always our greatest need.
And if there's anything we as moms cannot stand, it's the thought of a child being on the floor without a bed. So ladies, let's do it. Let's go out there, find them. How do we contact you if we want to gather a bed?
Yeah. Yes, you go ahead and go on our website, loveincmerced.com, and you can go directly to me if you'd like at Annette@loveincmerced.com.
Great. Okay. Well,
Yes,
I'm so glad that we got to do this.
Yes,
This definitely was a
thank
God
you,
appointment,
Laura.
and see you guys soon.
Thank you.